Hello, everyone. Well, it's a mess. Once again, people of Ukraine are turning up at the massive protests against the dismissal of the popular defense minister Fedorov, and I'm not sure how this is going to end. We know that there were conflicts between Fedorov and General Alexander Syrsky over strategy. People appear to be on Fedorov's side, and again, as I said before, a war is not a time for holding a popularity contest. This is ridiculous, because this is playing into Russia's hands. We cannot have this kind of internal squabbling. Personally, if it were up to me, I would restore Zaluzhny as the army commander, bring back Fedorov, beg him to come back, and put Syrsky in charge of some specific area of operations where he has proven success, and do it that way. But I am not in charge. And the problem is also that this comes just as Ukraine was making some progress and was getting a lot of approval for its strategy. So I can see why European allies are basically asking the same questions that I am asking. What the fuck are you doing? What are you trying to fix? This is ridiculous. Meanwhile, Zelensky is trying to patch up Ukraine's relationship with Poland. If you recall, there was an outcry in Poland when he decided back in May to name a Ukrainian army unit to honor the Second World War fighters who were involved in the massacre of Poles. So Zelensky met with some senior officials. He did say that improving relationship with Poland is critical, which is true. And that he will conduct an investigation. So it's something. As I mentioned before, it's not that Poland and Ukraine have always been BFFs, but they have a bigger fish to fry. They have a big common enemy, Russia, and it is essential that they remain allies. There's been attack on a logistics center by Ukraine in the town of Khodovsk in western Russia. 7 people were killed, 24 were wounded. There were additional drones that were launched in Moscow. They're saying that the Moscow attack was largely repelled. But again, that is stuff coming out of Russia, so we don't really know. Now, Russia continues to Russia, so multiple sources are covering the detention of a blogger who criticized Putin over the war in Ukraine, and another anti-war politician has been fined. The blogger Ilya Remeslo was detained on Friday on suspicion of spreading false information about the Russian army. But the question is, was it false information? Because what he likely was saying was what was actually happening in the Russian army. He was probably talking about the problem with training, the problem with equipment, the vulnerability, the fact that Russian soldiers don't last 30 minutes when they come in contact with Ukrainian defenses. That's pretty typical. He's not the first, and I'm sure not the last, who is gonna come under fire because of something like that. This surprises me not at all, because this is just the same crap we have been seeing for the last actually for the last 12 years since the annexation of Crimea. Whenever somebody expresses doubt about what Putin is doing, whenever somebody tries to bring to the attention of Russian people what is actually happening to their loved ones at the front lines, they are dubbed a liar, a spreader of false information, arrested, fined, etc., etc. And the other dude, Boris Nadezhdin, who's getting fined, he attempted to run against Putin in the 2024 election. So, we know Putin cannot stand opposition. Does that remind you of someone else we know? Yeah. Watch out, America. I can't say this is in your future. This is already happening here. The attacks on independent journalists, the suppression of opposition, it's already happening here. Do you like what you see? And the battle for the Black Sea continues. Russia is pounding Ukrainian Black Sea ports. 3 people were killed in the most recent attacks. And there have been also additional attacks on the infrastructure of Mykolaiv. One of the strikes killed 2 Ukrainians on board a foreign vessel. And so those areas, Mykolaiv and Odessa, continue coming under heavy fire. That said, situation in Crimea continues to be dire for the Russians. Because right now, multiple sources are starting to say it looks like Crimea is basically completely isolated at this point. It's completely cut off from mainland. It's completely cut off from Russian supply routes, Russian sources, etc. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. So I am following that story. I'm treating it as a developing story. We'll see. More to come.